Welcome one, welcome all. It's the inaugural CCIW broadcast on Marquee Sports Network. Hello everybody and welcome to Kenosha, Wisconsin as we have the visiting Vikings of North Park University taking on the home Firebirds of Carthage College. Alongside my broadcast colleague Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. We will also be joined by sideline reporter Kalia Butler. North Park trying to find their way right now, Eric, in the CCIW. Carthage, a real strong start to the season. North Park led by Caroline Long.
Yeah, Caroline Long was
and players coming off the bench to get the job done here today to start off conference. Pete, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kalia, Eric Elger, Peter Ferreri. What an exciting afternoon. We're live on Marquee Sports Network. Talk us through what we have in front of us today. Firebirds, Malia Green getting the starting nod amongst other players. We'll get through starters in just a moment. But a historic game. North Park 3-9 overall, looking for their first win in conference play. Firebirds 9-2 overall, 1-1 in conference play. It's been a back and forth battle for them this season in conference play thus far. This was something that Coach Jones said yesterday when we had our coaches call. She's looking to really pick things up from this point of the season because it wasn't quite where it was last year.
Yeah, she talked about turning the calendar. Last season, they couldn't really keep the momentum they had built earlier on, and she said that you've had a similar start to this season, and it's all about continuing that momentum into conference play, because this is really, whatever you've done before is great, but now this is the crunch time. This is conference play, so this is really when you want your best basketball to be on display.
Again, we're excited to be with you this afternoon. North Park wearing the road blacks with gold numbers and letters. The home Firebirds wearing the whites with red numbers and letters and black trim. Now looking at the starters, Hirschberger going to be leading the way, one of the best offensive players in the CCIW. Alongside her, you mentioned Caroline Long is going to be at the forward position. Joining her as well is going to be Kaskadovich, along with Abundis and Peterson, your starting five for the North Park Vikings. As for the Firebirds, Malia Green getting the starting nod this season, along with the transfer student Emma Carlson, Thistle, Knebel, and Mariana Morrissey, the senior leader for the Firebirds.
Yeah, it's a pretty straight-up lineup for the Firebirds, and something we've seen previously on these tip-offs. Carthage has been able to score right off opening tip last few games. You know, get in your seats here for this moment right here.
And we're underway. There's that quick tip. They didn't score in the first 4 seconds. We'll get more on that statistic in a moment. Thistle goes layup. It only took 10 seconds to get the opening basket right here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Carthage starts out fast. They start out hot. Each and every home game we've seen so far, Malia Green usually the one getting the score. They stopped her that time, but it left Thistle open.
Yeah, I can't believe they made us wait 10 seconds for the first basket this afternoon. But yeah, they are quick scoring offense off that tip-off, and that is a weapon they've used all season. And now it's going to be on the defensive end. Can they continue to force turnovers and get out in transition?
Driving with the left hand. Trying to get some turnaround jumpage, not able to fall. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. So the defense for the Firebirds starting strong.
Yeah, great defensive possession there. Forcing a tough shot at the end of the shot clock. And again, they love to pass the ball. They love to get into their post, work on that left block, using Emma Carlson a lot as a kind of a pivot of the offense. And there she has the ball right now.
Trying to drive in a little bit of contact, floater up. No whistle called. Carlson starts things out strong, as she has throughout the entirety of the season. Carlson, second leading scorer with 11.5 points a game.
Yeah, she's just so talented. What a, athletic big that they have, and she's so calm with the ball, and just the experience of the grad student just shines through, and her teammates really feed off of that as well.
Driving in, going up, a little bit of a block. They're going to call a foul on Green. Thought it was clean, but going to the line is going to be Caroline Long, the 5'10 sophomore out of Kokomo, Indiana.
Yeah, North Park kind of has a younger lineup. They start a few sophomores and freshmen and really just one grad student leading the way, but this is a talented player just in her sophomore year, as we highlighted pregame, and she's going to be tough to keep off the line and continue to stay in front.
Morrissey up ahead to Thistle. Your starting score, Eric Elger, Peter Ferreri, alongside sideline reporter Kalia Butler. Honored and privileged to be here on the inaugural broadcast on Watch Marquee. Thistle looked a bit too far. Morrissey started cutting into her left, couldn't go there. It is a deep bench for this Firebird squad, and we'll see a lot of rotations come in. But this starting five, a strong starting five for second-year head coach Megan Jones.
Yeah, that's something Coach Jones talked about. It's like how they love to pressure full court, and that takes a lot of toll on your body with that much pressure. And she kind of said, hey, we tell our players, play 3 minutes, gas it out, and then we'll get you a sub when you need it. But, yeah, that rotation helps keep the players fresh.
Ashanti Bradley called. Oh, mark that. It's actually going to be Evelyn Abundes out of Melrose Park, a transfer from Rockford University. Compression wrap on her right leg. Pump fake, trying to go up strong with the left hand. Carlson couldn't quite find it. North Park had a rough go against conference rival Wheaton a few weeks ago. Only 4 points in the opening quarter. They would have looked to get more than that, but one of the big reasons Wheaton had a huge, almost 20-point advantage was misguided shooting for North Park alongside the speed that the Thunder delivered. Let's see if the Firebirds can try to match that speed. Green driving in, contact, rolls off the foot, and whistle's going to go to the way of the Vikings.
Yeah, Malia Green just trying to take that thing coast to coast almost there. Just gets a hand, knocks it off her knee, but she'll stay aggressive and has been a huge factor for the Firebird offense this season. And, it's drives like that, and she can kick it out to her three-point shooters as the bucket goes in there.
And just like that, North Park ties it at 4 apiece. Pass off to Green. Thistle looks in the wing, drives in. The speedster tries to go up strong, and they're going to say out of bounds, no foul called. Thistle, kind of that all-in-one player, rarely leaves the court. Again, that rotational guard position, that's that speed of the Firebirds this year. Knebel and Carlson, two of the bigs that rotate through, both on the court simultaneously. Morrissey, offensive board. Green with the putback. And there's the player Coach Jones said when she took over the program had the highest ceiling that she didn't know she had, has broken through that ceiling in the starting lineup, a key contributor for the Firebirds this season. Misguided pass out of play, and we have our first sub coming into today, and it's going to be Grace Guamser, and she's your player to watch.
Yeah, she had a awesome game last game, 3 of 5 from behind the arc, but we talked about her defense and really her athleticism and length, where she can get those deflections and get that defense to offense going quickly when she can get those steals. And something we've seen so far here on Thistle on the baseline side has been having a lot of success with the crossover and get into a good spot, and she's been able to find teammates, and last possession was what kind of led to those offensive rebounds going up, and Thistle, so quick, just a quick first step to get by her defenders.
Morrissey drives in. Travel going to be called. Shuffle the feet on the first go of it. So almost 5 minutes into the opening quarter of action, the offensive Carthage been stymied a bit. Own mistakes and stellar defense so far for the Vikings. And the biggest thing as well, and we talked about the press and the pressure that the Firebirds place on their opponents. North Park did their homework.
Yeah, and Coach Jones talks about how they love to speed up teams, and when you can speed up teams, that's when you can force mistakes, and that pressure that Carthage deploys is often what kind of speeds them up, and you get some turnovers just based on North Park feeling like they have to get across.
Floating it up behind, getting her own offensive rebound up with the left hand, and good Caroline Long, the Western High School product, delivers yet again, tied at 6.
Yeah, she is tough on the boards, led the team in offensive rebounding last season as a freshman. And so Carthage is going to have to try to box out and get her off the glass because she is effective at getting those second chance opportunities. Morrissey just kind of got stuck there, picked up her dribble, didn't have somewhere to go with it, and North Park's out on the offensive end here now.
Kick over to Long. Open for three. Can she find it? All three of them. Number 15, Evelyn Abundas, out of West Leyden High School. A 3-point lead for North Park. That is one strong point of their offense, is being able to deliver on those long-range shots, and a beautiful bottom of the net three-pointer for North Park. Foul, however, is going to be called, and a timeout is going to be called on the court. We will take it with them. Your score, the Vikings of North Park University coming out hot from long range over the Firebirds of Carthage, 9-6. We'll be back on the Marquee Sports Network. And welcome back. Emma Thistle is going to be going to the line for two. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri, live on Marquee Sports Network alongside sideline reporter Kalia Butler. 4:33 remaining. Thistle first one up and no good. And that's going to be a point to look at this afternoon, Eric, because Coach Jones did tell us on the coach call yesterday that free throws is something she knows that the team's got to get better on. They have to improve on. And Thistle 0 for 2, and it's going to be a lane violation as well.
Yeah, she talked about in practice, they put up a lot of free throws, and Thistle will get another chance here to knock one down. But, yeah, she said that was a point of emphasis. I mean, really, you know, knocking down your free throws
and
is
0
always
for 3.
important. Yeah.
Now for Thistle, who came into the contest at an .692 percentage, so that'll drop a bit as Kaskovich leading the helm on the offensive side. Back in her hand, kicks out to the right side. Shot clock running down to 3 for 2. A right-hand hook shot. Is a foul going to be called? It is. So just a prayer of a shot answered, as foul is going to be called on Wamser. Coach Jones can't be happy about that. Again, you just hope to force up a bad shot, don't want to necessarily make contact.
Yeah, just a little over-aggressive from Grace Wamser there, but I mean, would stay in front and really, yeah, you just don't foul her there and you get the ball back. But ref saw a little touch of the arm there, And that's what put North Park to the free throw line.
So 4-point lead for the Vikings. They came to play. Let's see if the Firebirds can answer back. Looking in, Grace Cord is checked into the game. The true sophomore, left hand up, rolls around and good. And that's the spark plug that Grace Cord has been off the bench for the Firebirds.
What touch off the backboard there, just powering in, and it was too much to be stopped there, but she has to finish the basket, and a nice kiss off the glass there with the left hand and get 2 points for Carthage.
Keene looks in, forces it up strong with the left hand, and Nora Aram gets the board and gets fouled. So Nora Aram, the UIC Flames transfer in the middle of last season, has been that D1 spark plug. Another one at the guard position off the bench for Coach Jones. Again, her second year at the helm. Also the second year for head coach Radankovic for North Park. Cord, isolated one-on-one, goes up strong with the right hand. Left side, right side, bang for both. 10-10, the last 4 points scored by Grace Cord.
Yeah, how about that? Back-to-back possessions, as you said, left to right. A post presence early for the Firebirds.
Baseline jumper wide open is going to be Brooke Panish out of Lamont, Illinois. She's able to deliver. And an offensive board for Cord. Aram looked for three. Another offensive board for Cord. Almost a foul called. Coach Radankovic calling for a violation as it hit off the top of the backboard, but a foul going to be called nonetheless defensively. So that'll put a few more seconds on the clock for the Firebirds. 2:33 remaining in the first quarter. 12-10 your score.
Something Coach Jones also talked about is how in practice, how much this team pushes themselves to get better. And something I think you can see here early with Grace Cord is, I mean, she's going up against Emma Carlson, and some of the moves she's pulled off, I think, have been sharpened in practice against such a great player as Emma Carlson.
Aram misses after the two misses for Green. So an intriguing possession nonetheless, and a travel going to be called. So Firebirds, it's an interesting last 60-plus seconds or so, but we see another potential substitution. So as Aram checks out, in comes for the Firebirds is going to be number 34, Alyssa Orozco, who did not play in their last game on Monday, so back on the court. Another depth piece for the Firebirds.
Yeah, someone earlier in the season, it was kind of been a spark off the bench, and so they kind of missed her the last few games, but she's looking to get some damage done this afternoon.
Grace Cord looked for the up and under, was fouled by Panish. And Cord will go to the line for two. You cannot understate, as we mentioned, that 3+ person rotation at the big between Cord, Carlson, as Cord makes the first one, and Knebel, not to mention the just finishing cross-country season, now playing Jess Pekaski. And Cord makes them both. Orozco also your stretch guard, or stretch four in some circumstances. Good trap, Green, and I believe a foul is going to be called. And it is, so Firebirds not necessarily happy about that trap with 1:56 remaining. That's going to be the second foul called on Grace Wamser as Morrissey looks to check in for the aforementioned Wamser.
Yeah, I think Coach Jones there was saying you had him in the trap. The last thing you need to do is foul and bail North Park out. And so you can see they're having a little conversation with Wamser on the sideline. She's kind of holding her hands up, just get big and keep her trapped.
Open for three, again rims out, punched up, Thistle. Couldn't find it as Abandes. Malia Green, open for three, hard off the back iron. Morrissey with the offensive board, back up to Thistle. Tied at 12 apiece, 15 on the shot clock. Cord looking for positioning down low. Green drives in, the kick out to Morrissey, under 5. Morrissey off the backboard, no good, doesn't hit the rim. North Park now with an opportunity to regain the lead. Long range three from the wing, no good, bounces out. Couldn't find it as Hirschberger. Quiet afternoon for her. 60 seconds remaining in the opening quarter.
Yeah, and there's, again, Malia Green just being left alone. North Park having some trouble picking up their player on defense and the transition, and Malia Green just unfortunate not to be able to cash in those last two looks. And Carthage now 0 for 3 from the three-point line.
Hand in her face, contested three, couldn't find it yet again. Abunda is not afraid to take that long-range shot. Defended well.
Yeah, she's put up over 115 threes this season already, so yeah, not afraid to let it fly from out there. And let's see if they go back to Grace Cord, who has really been a spark plug here for the Firebirds.
They do, and a travel going to be called. So Vikings are going to have 16.4 to drain and then try to get a shot off. Easier said than done against this full court pressure. Here comes the assist. Pass off. Orozco with the steal. 6 seconds remaining. Can she get a shot off in time? Looking for someone to pass to. Able to get it to Cord. Foul going to be called on the floor. So Cord, in her attempt to garner possession, are they going to say, okay, so with that being the 5th foul, Cord going to go to the line for 2.
Great job by Orozco there.
Yeah.
Got almost triple team, was just able to kind of get it out of there and find Cord, who is fortunate enough to pick up the bonus free throws here with 0.4 seconds left.
Cord up and good. She has been everything for the Firebirds offensively off the bench. And that will be the end of quarter number 1. Your score, 14-12. Firebirds bounced back from an early deficit. We'll take a timeout when we come back. Quarter number 2 action right here on Marquee Sports Network. We're back 14-12, your score. Now to sideline reporter Kalia Butler. Kalia.
Yeah, Pete, the motto for the Firebirds this season is why not us? The team didn't have quite the conference run they were looking for last season, but head coach Megan Jones has instilled confidence back into this team, telling them that they have all the tools they need to win and are looking for some redemption in the CCIW this year.
What a turn of events. Thank you for that, Kalia. As we not only saw that team motto of why not us, and again, when they reached this point of the season last year, they had a very good record and just couldn't finish games. This is one of those prime examples today of, okay, they were down a little bit early, got the lead now. Can they maintain? And even if, of course, it's a game of runs, it's going to be a back-and-forth battle. But a 10-second violation. What a hot start for the Firebirds here in quarter number 2.
Yeah, how about that? 2 turnovers right out of the gate here for the Firebird defense. One led by Morrissey, and they're a 10-second violation. So if Carthage can make baskets and get set up in their full court press, that is going to provide a lot of problems for the Vikings this afternoon.
Quick offense now for the Firebirds. Morrissey off to Carlson. Thistle thought about it, broke the double defender. Knebel, not known for long range, doesn't find it there. Carlson looks for the offensive board and finds it.
It's now Carthage's 8th offensive rebound already in the game.
They are not allowing Morrissey to do anything offensively today, and that's a good strategy if you're the Vikings. 5 seconds remain. Green with the pump fake, drives in, floats up, left-hand layup, couldn't find it. Knebel offensive board again. The reset for the Firebirds. Thistle drives in, she gets contact, knocked out of play, 14 seconds remain. The second chance opportunities for the Firebirds is really proving fruitful for them.
Yeah, now they're actually, Carthage almost doubled up on rebounding advantage, and yeah, North Park's going to have a hard time staying in the game as Morrissey goes and one. What a drive they by Morrissey. Yeah, North Park's going to have a tough afternoon if they're getting doubled up on the boards, and Morrissey cashing in the extra chance, extra opportunities they're getting, and drive to the basket there. Beautiful through the contact.
Morgana Morrissey averaging 15.3 points a game, 574 from the free throw line. Nothing but the bottom of the net there. As we state, a potential future Hall of Famer for this Firebirds athletics program. Out of bounds play forced by Morrissey, and she must have heard us saying that they've tried to silence her. She is starting to take over this contest.
There again, Carthage, when they can, they score the basket, they can set up in that full court press, and North Park still has not been able to figure that out here in the second quarter, and it's been all Carthage here in the first 90 seconds of the quarter, as they're now up 7.
Carlson looks for the cutting Morrissey, doesn't find it, keeps it herself, out to Morrissey, baseline, 3-ball, bang! Nothing but the bottom of the net, 22-12, what a run for the Firebirds. They are now up by 10. Timeout going to be called. We'll keep it here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. 22-12. While we have a moment, hey, are you ready to take the next step in your educational journey? Well, Carthage College makes the admissions process simple and straightforward so you can focus on finding the best fit for your future. Whether you're an undergraduate, transfer, graduate, or international student, we're here to guide you every step of the way. Visit carthage.com/admissions/apply for details, or reach out to the admissions team at 800-351-4058 or admissions@carthage.edu. Can't wait to welcome you to the Firebird family. Again, 10-point lead for the Firebirds. Eric Elger, Peter Ferreri, alongside sideline reporter Kalia Butler. It's been a joy having her join us in the broadcast this afternoon. Eric, talk us through. Again, we are 90 seconds into quarter number 2, and it's kind of like, well, where was this for the Firebirds in the first quarter? They kind of weathered the storm of the Vikings and have really started to apply even more pressure.
Exactly. There you can see where we're at in the game here, and really just the second quarter alone, North Park doesn't even have a shot that they've taken because they haven't even been able to get the ball across half court. So really clamping down on the defense, getting those extra opportunities. As you can see, they're up to 15 rebounds now. So, yeah, the defense and rebounding really has led to this 8-point quarter for Firebirds already.
Yeah, the 8 turnovers is key. And something else to keep in mind, it is a 12-0 run in the last 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I mean, that's a 12-0 scoreless run. And we spoke about how, okay, well, North Park had that early lead. It was only a matter of time before the Firebirds kind of found themselves and, North Park's got to make a little bit of an adjustment here, and I think it starts with the inbound because, again, when you're Coach Jones, and all right, that initial formula, maybe that starting five didn't quite yield the results, is what I want to say, of what they were looking for the press. Now you look at, it's the same starting five that started the game and now firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I mean, they seem to be all over there. And if you're the Firebird defense, you got to just love this opportunity when the team starts kind of having some turnovers, they're throwing the ball out of bounds. You really feel like, man, you have them in your pocket right now. And Carthage just so frustrating to North Park, especially if you're the Vikings. You don't even have a shot taken this quarter. So Carthage, yeah, really stout defense, and they'll continue to play aggressive press all game long. So what's North Park going to do to adjust?
Yeah, 12 points in the paint to 2 is the differential for Carthage over North Park, and 14 to 7 your points off turnovers.
And don't forget that a lot of this scoring run started with Grace Cord just kind of taking over at the end of the first quarter.
Well, that one was trying to split the defenders. Bounced off of Knebel and Thistle. They both tried going for it simultaneously. 10-point lead, 8-16 until half on the Firebird Broadcasting Network and Marquee Sports Network. Thank you for joining us this Saturday afternoon, the first Saturday in January. I was told in the pregame I was not allowed to say any more Happy New Year because it's too many days into the year. So we'll just say we hope you had a good New Year the past few days, and Carlson's happy that she just took a charge and another possession for the Firebirds.
Yeah, you can see what North Park's trying to do when they can set up their offense. They're trying to go through Caroline Long and getting her in the post, and she's trying to find pockets to pass out to her teammates. But there, again, Carthage not giving anything up. It's a 5-second call from Green there. Just kind of got trapped out there. And that's something that, as a coach, you try to teach your players, try to, keep that dribble. Don't pick it up until you really know where you're going. And it seemed like Malia Green kind of got stuck there and was forced. North Park was able to force that turnover.
Quiet afternoon for Hirschberger, only 2 points, both on free throws. The lefty up for 3, back iron, no good. That was Teresa Morrissey out of Lincoln Park High School in Chicago. Morrissey started taking over the show after Grace Cord, and that's going to be a charge. Outstanding job taking the charge for the Vikings. That was number 5, Peterson, out of Yorkville, Illinois.
Yeah, we talked with Coach Jones about, some of the faster players in the CCIW, and she agreed with us to saying Morrissey's one of the faster players there are. And to be able to stay in front of her and take a charge, that is a huge effort on the defensive end.
Well, that's going to be a second foul on Mariana Morrissey in the last few seconds, and so she's immediately going to sub out, and that's a nice break for the Vikings.
Yeah, but unfortunately not a huge break against the defense of Grace Wamser, and we know she likes to cause havoc, and again, a huge, massive athlete that can sprint and bounce. I think Coach Jones described her as bouncy. So no let up on the defensive end for sure.
Looking for somewhere to go with it, picked up the dribble. Knebel out on the 3-point line. Wamser forcing a right-hand floater off the back iron, and that is a beautiful shot of Bundes. Again, the Melrose Park product. She is an offensive powerhouse for the Vikings. There is no shot she's not afraid to take.
That was a nice drive there, knowing the shot clock was running out, able to get kind of a running bank shot there. And really, North Park needed that. It had been a while since they saw it go through the net.
Knebel looked for the 3, wasn't able to find it. Malia Green stepped on the line. And that's something that you got to think about if you're Knebel. Again, they're going to leave that shot open for you, so you got to be confident enough to take the shot. So if you're a Firebirds fan, you have no qualms with her taking that shot. Firebirds tried to crash the boards after the miss. Again, Knebel, not necessarily known as your 3-point shooter.
She has connected a 3 of 16 coming into the game. So, yeah, she hasn't taken a lot, but, I think if you're that open, stay aggressive.
This also almost comes away with the steal. Again, the front court now of Thistle and Aram. Carlson back in. Let's see what she could do offensively. Emma Carlson, the Lawrence College transfer. The Firebirds able to come away with another possession.
Yeah, she just ran into Carlson there and kind of got stuck. But the height of Carlson will make you kind of do some crazy things sometimes, and the feet were shuffled. And here comes Grace Cord, who has been having quite the offensive game so far, and there they go right to her.
Yeah, Grace Cord already 8 points, tied for the team lead with Morrissey, and that's something that is something to be said because she is your rotational big coming off the bench and already 8 points. But that's something we spoke about yesterday in our coaches call with Coach Megan Jones, again in her second season at the helm, in that she said at any point in time, and you even brought it up as a talking point, as Grace Cord, again, going to the line. Up, rolls around, and no good. But Mariana Morrissey was her and Lauren Knight last year, your 1-2 punch offensively, and players would chip in occasionally. But now that Lauren Knight is gone, it's kind of a rotation of who, based on the matchup, is going to help us offensively and who's got the hot hand, and you're able to play that, and clearly today it's Grace Cord.
And she's also talking about how much more post-oriented they are this season. And you can see with players like Carlson and Cord, it is always a good idea to kind of run the offense through them because Carthage has been efficient when the ball gets in their hands.
5:30. Make sure as well you stick around. Double header today on Marquee Sports Network, as the Firebirds and Vikings on the men's side will be playing just about a half hour after this game concludes. The debut of CCIW Hoops in Carthage, taking on North Park. Orozco looks for 3. Soft off the front iron. Another offensive board by Aram. Another trifecta, making it rain. As Pitbull said, fireball, 26-14.
How about that? Wamser really finding her three-point shot the last few games. That was pure. Almost gets the deflection on the defensive end as well.
Up off the backboard with the left hand and good. Answering back, her first basket of the afternoon is going to be Teresa Morrissey.
Yeah, Thistle getting a little over anxious there, trying to get the ball to Grace Cord just a little high, but you can tell Carthage really is seeing the kind of game Grace Cord's having, so they're more than happy to try to feed the ball to number 44.
Checking into the game for the Vikings recently as well is going to be Shay Bowen out of Evanston Township, a transfer from Oakton Community College, and another basket for North Park. Back-to-back buckets for Morrissey of the Vikings.
And there you can see North Park breaking down the initial press of the Firebirds, and that's led to some easier opportunities. And Teresa Morrissey able to get to the basket last 2 possessions. So North Park, if they can break that press, and kind of score early, they have some success.
Here's that smaller lineup for the Firebirds. Wide open is Thistle. Can she find it? She can! 29-18, trifecta for Emma Thistle.
This feels like one of those games where the first few three-pointers not going in for the Firebirds, but then once somebody makes one, it's opens up the basket. It seems like everyone can start making a three after that, and they've been hot here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Morrissey for the Vikings looked for 3 baskets in a row, couldn't find it. The lefty. Aram, tough defense at the top of the key for Abundis. Orozco kicks it out. Driving in is Thistle. Nice pass. Grace Cord, the lefty, delivers. 31-18, the Firebirds trying to break it open offensively. Grace Cord, 11 points.
Yeah, she's definitely got to give a fist bump to Thistle, who did most of the work there. Just dumped it off to Cord, an easy bucket. But again, Thistle, effective, driving down the baseline. It seems either side, and that's really opened up some great shots for her teammates.
Under 10 remaining on the shot clock. Vikings driving the lane, floating up with the right hand, couldn't find it. Rebound, Grace Cord pushing the pace, Nor Aram. Thistle open for 3. She's been feeling it, and it continues. 34-18. Firebirds in fuego as we can continue on in quarter number 2.
That seemed to be a problem for North Park. They haven't really picked up the trailer on the offensive end of the Carthage Firebirds, and you could tell Thistle just stepping out there. Good idea, but it seems like they kind of lost some of who they're supposed to be guarding, and that is, we saw Thistle just knocked down a 3 there. Malia Green's had a couple open looks just coming down the court and seeing those open shots, and Thistle been able to knock them down here in the second.
So Grace Cord's season high was against the Maroons of the University of Chicago back in November at 13, so she's 2 away from her season high already. Aram floater with the right hand, and 1. The former Flame heating up for the Firebirds, her first bucket of the afternoon, 36-18.
Wow, what a take. And again, talking about the depth of Carthage, Aram not a starter, but you wouldn't really know what taking a look at that play right there. I mean, seems like she could be a force for any lineup, and, you know, coming off the bench and still making an impact. And that's something Coach Jones has talked about as well, is saying, hey, this team is so close-knit on and off the court, and, you know, they're not afraid to contribute where they can, and it's not all about who starts and who's scoring, just how can we get this team to a win.
Orozco gets her hands in the lane. Open to the left, Maria Glean with the pump fake, the drive, the bucket, the and 1. Firebirds firing on all cylinders. 39-18 your score.
North Park foul number 20, Shane Bowman. First personal, 15 foul.
And now North Park up to 8 turnovers. And Carthage has been able to, off those turnovers, score 20 points now. So, you know, you take a look at where the score is right now. I mean, Carthage has scored more points off turnovers than North Park has even scored. There's another one.
Full court clinic. 42-18. We're going to take a timeout. 42-18 your score. Unbelievable. What a turn of events for the Firebirds. Again, while we have a moment, you want to catch all other action of Carthage Athletics. All home Carthage Athletics events are streamed live on YouTube. Tune in to your mobile device, tablet, desktop, or smart TV and cheer on the Firebirds anytime, anywhere. Don't miss a moment of the excitement. And this game is also brought to you in part by Pullman Motors, proud sponsor of Carthage Athletics. Pullman Motors is committed to driving excellence both on and off the field. Whether you're looking for a reliable ride or top-notch service, Pullman Motors has you covered. Visit Pullman Motors in Kenosha or online at pullman.com. 42-18, boy oh boy, Eric.
Yeah, I just want to clarify where I said that North Park has 9 turnovers. That's just in the second quarter. So Carthage with those 23 points off turnovers in the second quarter alone, a huge difference than the first quarter where Carthage only had 14 points. So wow, you can really see Carthage sinking their teeth in here and kind of trying to really finish this first half on a high note after extending their lead continually. And Malia Green almost getting a steal there, and that would have been an easy 2. Just enough of a bump there to cause a foul, but gotta love the aggression as Carthage continues to stay aggressive. And Delaney Aylesmore is someone we talked about with Coach Jones yesterday, just kind of asking, like, what, you know, as a freshman, what do you like out of her play? And she really said she is a great passer. And so, you know, her role when she comes in the court is distribute and can just pass the ball around, and Coach Jones says she's really loved her ability on that side of the floor.
Driving in, floating up with the right hand off the backboard. No good. Orozco with the board. Grace Cord trying to float it up.
Yeah, it has been tough. North Park just not quite finding an answer for Grace Cord. And, you know, even with 2 defenders on there, she's able to turn and draw the foul.
There it is.
And I got to say, she's got one of the better free throw strokes on the team. I mean, you can see that thing really rotate out of her hand. She knocks them both down there.
Has matched her season high with 13 points in the first half. What an afternoon for Grace Cord. Her career high 17 points. That was December the 2nd of 2023 against Augustana. So 4 points away from a career high with an entire second half to play, almost a steal. Kicking out to the top, looking for the left-hand three, airs it. Couldn't find it, also subbing in for the Vikings is Jocelyn Shamus out of Chicago, Illinois. A lot of local products for this Vikings team, Northside School.
Carthage probably looking to take a little time here, get it to Grace Cord. Why not?
Yeah, 15-second differential. Cord backing in, looking for the up and under, and just loses the handle, but it was actually tipped away at the last moment by Shea Bowen. So right now they're just trying to rotate defenders of who can stop the Grace Cord show.
And Shea Bowen, a nice job there, not fouling, staying straight up.
That one knocked away again by Bowen. So Bowen not allowing much underneath as her team comes to congratulate her. Kind of playing the enforcer role. Thistle, 5 seconds remain, looking for anything, tries to pass it to Cord. Stolen away at the last minute. 15 seconds remain. Vikings look to hold for the last shot of the opening half of action. The lefty for three, front iron, no good. 6 seconds remain. Can the Firebirds push fast enough? Aram, the step back, three-pointer! What a way to end the half for the Firebirds. Nora Aram, 3-ball. As the Firebirds will go into half 47-18. That was a 21-point scoring run for the Firebirds. Eric, thoughts before we head into half?
I mean, I think if you're talking to coach here before half, you can't get quite much better than the second quarter. 33-6 in the second quarter alone, and that defense causing such problems for the Vikings.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, a halftime report brought to you by Kalia Butler right here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
I chose Carthage because of the lake view, but also I got to see firsthand the community that we have here. I got to see the relationships that students had with not only each other, but the professors.
The experience at Carthage has been very welcoming. You come in and you are welcomed and loved by everyone. It's a really magical experience. It's a very close-knit family here.
Carthage faculty really strive to have personal connections with our students. Only through developing that level of trust and that level of understanding can our students really allow themselves to be vulnerable and to try things that they might be afraid to try.
The other thing that faculty do, either through mentoring or their teaching, is they're able to bring out the potential of the student. Through the process and believing in them and letting them know they can do this, they're soaring.
As a Carthage parent myself, one of the things I really appreciate about Carthage is the amount of personal attention that my kids have had here.
Our faculty are really, really good at trying to take students from where they're at and try to help them be the best they can be, sometimes even better than they thought they could be.
We do have a lot of really great faculty members and a lot of really great staff members that help out a lot of students figure out exactly what they want to do. You're able to take a lot of different classes in different disciplines to find out what you're really passionate about.
They're really going to get an education that is personal and individualized to meet their needs, and that will push them and challenge them to know more, so that by the time they have graduated, they'll be able to look back and say, I got so much more than I expected, and now I can appreciate that I'm more prepared to go out into the world.
Welcome back for the halftime show. Carthage with a huge, monstrous second quarter of action. They lead 47-18. They outscored North Park 33-6 in the second quarter alone. We are now going to go to sideline reporter Kalia Butler. Kalia had a chance to talk to Coach Jones. Kalia.
Yeah, Peter, I spoke with head coach Jones, and she said that they were playing way too complacent in that first quarter and letting the Vikings set the tone. She said that the difference in the second quarter is that they were getting into that press, being very deflective in that press, and that's a tough press to get by, and you can see that in their 29-point lead that they have now. And, you know, to make the Wisconsin reference, Tyler Kolick from Marquee, he said it was barbecue chicken from there, and that's exactly what it's going to be for the Firebirds as they continue into the second half and just making those adjustments that they made in that second quarter.
Thank you for that, Kalia. Again, for Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Excited to be on here with you again, the inaugural game on the CCIW's coverage of the Marquee Sports Network. Eric, talk us through some of the stats.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that kind of stands out to you right away besides the score, is the rebounding advantage. So even when North Park has been able to force some tough shots at Carthage, the Firebirds have been cleaning up the glass and have a huge advantage. And you can see those 11 offensive rebounds alone, which is more than North Park even has together. And I think Kalia said it, really well, is that first quarter, I think Coach Jones kind of talking about how they weren't able to kind of start the momentum, get that energy going, and as soon as the second quarter hit, it was all Firebirds, and even 22 bench points, a lot of that keyed from Grace Cord, who has just had an outstanding half, and I see no reason why not to keep getting it to her in the second.
Well, and you mentioned when we spoke with Coach Jones, they were just a high-flying, shoot-from-long-range type of shooting team last year. They're more of a paint team this year. You see it there, 20 points in the paint in the first. A big part of that is the maturation of Grace Cord, Knebel not having to be the lone enforcer down low. But then in addition to that, Carlson not having to be the number one player underneath that rotation. And we mentioned earlier in the contest, we haven't even seen a Jess Pekaski yet. That's just another player. Orozco's feeling better. She's rotating in as well. And right now, the second quarter of action really showed that when Carthage, and I know it's cliche and we've said it before, but when they're firing on all cylinders and that press is working, they're going to cause a lot of teams in the CCIW fits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when they're not scoring in the paint, it's all based off of that press and just getting turnover after turnover after turnover. And North Park up to 14 in the game compared to a Carthage still has 11.
Yeah.
And I would say if you are nitpicking a little bit, I would guess Coach Jones would like to see those 11 turnovers, decrease a little this second half. And I see no reason why that press won't continue to bother North Park. And, at the halftime, what could Coach Radankovic come up with to try and scheme out this tough press of the Firebirds?
Yeah, when we talk about not only the stellar scoring that the Firebirds did, it was a 21-0 run in the final 4 minutes of action. And if you really want to look overall, what also hurt is, 1 for 6 out of their last 6 points. So North Park started off fairly confident in their shooting, hitting the outside shot, driving in, getting some second chance points. But with that being said, things kind of dried up in quarter number 2. Let's talk about North Park for a moment before we take our final time out of the halftime report. If you're North Park, what did you see in quarter number 1 that you want to bring back here for quarter number 3?
I think it's kind of going back to what Kalia had talked to Coach Jones about, is that Coach Jones said Carthage kind of let North Park dictate the tempo and kind of push their game upon the Firebirds, and as soon as the second quarter hit, the Firebirds got more into their game. So if you're North Park, it's all about, can you get past the press, and can you slow it down, get into players like, your low post players. We talked about Caroline Long. We saw some success from Teresa Morrissey, and all of that starts with getting the ball over half court, and I think they really want to kind of slow it down and see if they can get some open looks, and they're going to have to knock down some threes to get back in this game.
Bet they will. Carthage 47, North Park 18. We'll be back. Second half action on Marquee. 47-18 your score. Some sandstorm bringing us into the second half of action. Hello everybody, I'm Peter Ferreri alongside Eric Elger. Thank you for joining us on the Firebird Broadcasting Network on Marquee Sports Network for the inaugural time here in CCIW action. A second quarter of the ages for the Firebirds. They're looking to continue it along. Again, Eric, Firebirds already back on the court. They had a lot going their way in quarter number 2.
Yeah, you talked about sandstorm being on the loudspeaker here. It was a sandstorm on defense for the Firebirds, and it just seemed like North Park couldn't find a way out. But you'd expect, a CCIW team, every team is very talented in this conference. You'd expect some adjustments, and I think the Vikings will have another punch here and see how close they can make this game in the second half.
So the Firebirds out on the court. Vikings will be joining them again. Stick around for the second game of the doubleheader today, as the Firebirds and Vikings on the men's side will be game number 2, again for the inaugural action of CCIW Hoops and Athletics on Marquee. Morrissey inbounds to Thistle, and we're underway in quarter number 3 of action, already a tip away. And that's a player for Caroline Long. You mentioned her in the pregame as the player to watch.
Yeah,
and she started out strong, I was going to say, kind of quieted off.
Yeah, she's going to have to take up a bigger role here. And Morrissey says, we're not dropping off yet, and taking it to the hoop, and right at Caroline Long, trying to help, just not able to get there in time with the quickness of Morrissey. And another quick start for the Firebirds.
Long gets her own offensive board, trying to power through. Foul going to be called against Knebel. And just like that, Long is going to be able to go to the line for 2.
Yeah, and that's where I think North Park's really going to have to try to get some more high percentage shots, and Long is a great player to get it into, and not able to get the basket there, but drawing the foul and see if she can knock down these free throws. Oh, that was a 720, I think, there. That was twice around the bend. But yeah, I mean, North Park, we talked about they knocked down a 3 early in the game, have not hit one since that moment. So, 1 of 9 from the 3-point line. So can they get some of those easier buckets and go through the tough Caroline Long?
Knebel hands off to Malia Green. Morrissey on the left wing, quick into Knebel. Carlson sitting at the free throw line. Carlson now isolated against Long. Turnaround jumper with the right hand, couldn't find it. Knebel, Green, offensive board. Everything's coming up red. Red, red, red. 51-20.
And how about that? Knebel might have been watching the volleyball practice earlier today at Tarble, because she was just able to volleyball knock that over to her teammate, and an offensive rebound again. And that's something North Park has had a hard time stopping, is the crashing of the Firebirds on those offensive boards. Another player to look at, too, through the Vikings, as if you look at their second leading scorer of the season, Evelyn Abundez, she's also been held pretty quietly. She averages close to 11 points a game herself, so one of those 2 scoring options has got to step up here for the Vikings.
Thistle looks for Morrissey. Hopped back, thought she had the 3, another swat away, and Malia Green able to run it down. Getting the screen from Carlson, looking for the pass, finds Morrissey, resetting up the offense. A lot of movement. Green, who passed on the far side, gets the near side. Carlson in, foul on the way up. And Carlson will go to the line for 2 more.
Yeah, I think Carthage saw the mismatch there. All of a sudden, Aaliyah Hirschberger ended up on Carlson. Hirschberger just 5'6", and Carlson 6 foot. So that height advantage, the Firebirds were able to take advantage of and get it down to Carlson, who's getting to the line.
Rolls around, no good. Coach Jones had told us that they even were playing a game to try to improve the optimism around the free throw line. I'm sure they're going to be playing that game again. That one is good for Carlson. 52-20.
kind of wonder who won that game. You know, we never got to the winner, but I would say my pick in any type of free throw competition from the Firebirds would be Grace Cord. You take a look. I mean, she's been knocking down free throws today, but she is a great free throw shooter, 88% from the line this season.
Driving in with the left hand, a little bit of contact, but able to find the bucket is Hirschberger out of Mishawaka Marion High School. Floating up with the right hand was Green. Carlson contact. Morrissey tries to get through the sea of arms, not able to get there. Vikings down by 30. Almost a misguided pass, but picking up the pieces right along the middle is going to be Abundes.
And here North Park going a little more 5 out. They're running long around the baseline. There they tried to force it into her.
And Carlson just uses the length. You know, not only did you get some key returns from as a too hard of a pass, kind of a line drive shot from Morrissey, Knable even getting a word from Coach Jones like, hey, move with it. You know, she wanted her to get that pass and move instead of passing it off. But you talk about the growth and the maturation of the players you currently had. Then you talk about the players like Carlson that you brought in. Let it be known, we haven't really seen any freshmen so far today for Carthage, and they have been key contributors early on in the season for the Firebirds.
Yeah, as we talked about the depth, I mean, it just seems like Coach Jones can kind of point to anyone off the bench, and they will play a role and play it well. And again, going back to how much this team has pushed each other in practice and gotten better, and you can see just up and down the roster, not a really drop off on talent anywhere you go.
Thistle looked for the three, couldn't find it off the rim. Picking up the rebound is is Peterson. Kicking off to the right side. The lefty wants all three, gets them. Aaliyah Hirschberger now gets up to 7 points on the afternoon as Wamser looks like she's about to check in.
Yeah, Hirschberger, the third leading scorer coming in today, so another option that is going to have to step up in the second half for the Vikings.
Morrissey misses.
Good look by Morrissey there, just not able to connect.
Pass off to the right wing for Catherine Keene out of Mount Prospect, Illinois. Quiet afternoon for Keene, a point on 1 for 2 from the free throw line. And an offensive foul going to be called against the Vikings with 5:24 remaining as we see Cord is going to check in. So a little bit of a line change as we see for the Firebirds. So Roscoe, Cord, Leah Green, Thistle stays in, and Wamser. Again, the bounce back that Wamser had from an Achilles injury is, you know, just something to behold. You know, you and I were both here, I believe, Eric, when the injury happened. It was not a pretty sight for all intents and purposes, and she's now back with a vengeance. And Grace Cord almost was able to get that up and under again. Still sits at 13 points, career high 17. Look for the pass off, nothing there. From the elbow, good. Caroline Long.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a nice little turn and pop there at the elbow for Long, and you know if she can develop that part of her game even more, she's gonna be tough to stop. She's so effective down low, and you know if she can turn, square up, and fire it like that, makes you an offensive force for sure.
So Thistle called to the line. We'll take a timeout. Your score 52-27 for Eric Elger. I'm Peter Ferreri. We will be back on the Marquee Sports Network. sat with bated breath to see if you would nail that free throw.
Yeah, you saw her before coming back here. She was laughing with the ref a little bit, staying loose, so I don't think she felt much pressure to get those free throws in, but she knocks them down either way.
54-27 your score here on Marquee. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. We appreciate you being with us this Saturday afternoon for Game 1 of the doubleheader. Crisp pass underneath, the lefty up, no good, couldn't quite find it. Was Morrissey. Wamser in, Orozco fouled, and one. It's the rise of red, red, red. To quote Descendants, of course. Have your children partaken in the Descendants at all yet?
Not quite there yet, no.
Okay.
Sounds like you've watched it a couple times.
Just a few. My little one just so happened to even get the Queen of Hearts doll yesterday, as of course, the gift you ordered 2 months ago that was on back order and just comes in, a week after the holidays. So 30-point lead for the Firebirds, 4:09 remaining in the contest. Appreciate you being with us on this Saturday afternoon. Looking for the pump fake, nothing there. Potential chance for some bench players for the Firebirds to come in when we get to quarter number 4, still here in quarter number 3. Driving in, trying to go with the right hand. Smooth operator, Evelyn Abundes. She's fun to watch on the offensive side, Eric.
Yeah, she's got a lot of talent there. I mean, able to get to the basket there, and that's a tough shot to get off the backboard and in. And, kind of looking at North Park here in the third quarter, as Wamser puts one in, and there's been some nice cuts the last 2 possessions for the Firebirds. But going back to the third quarter, I mean, North Park they've scored 11 and given up 12, so they really tightened it up here in the third quarter. And even in the first quarter, they only lost by 2 points that quarter. It was just that second quarter was just an onslaught from the Firebirds. And, North Park has played tough here in the second half so far.
3-pointer, no good. Rebound by Cord. Coach Jones telling the team, pick up the pace. This is one of those games as well with a comfortable lead for all intents and purposes. You still don't want to get complacent. You want to go at a strong pace. You want Grace Cord to just be the enforcer down low and get another bucket and be 2 away from her career high.
Yeah, exactly. I think she wants to speed up because, Carthage loves to play fast, and you can see if they can speed up North Park. Oh, as Green gives it back. But, yeah, when this game is at a faster pace, it is definitely advantage Firebirds. And so, yeah, Coach Jones says, let's get it going again here.
Yeah, Green came in with the steal, kind of floated it haphazardly to Aram, who she thought was going to maybe make a break on. It didn't quite happen, but nonetheless, can the Vikings capitalize on the turnover? Now they'll do so on the near side, underneath, and Orozco comes away with another rebound. Green looks off to the right, decides to pick up the pieces. Quick pass underneath Cord, left hand and good. It is the Grace Cord Show, and we are witness. Tied the career high of 17, 63-29.
How about that Paul Skeens fastball from Wamser there? You can hear that ball hit the hands of Grace Cord. She's able to hang on to it and get the basket, but man, that's a mustard on it.
Well, the women's lacrosse schedule was just announced. Green misses point blank. Cord looking for the offensive board, falls down, couldn't get it. That was just a heat seeker. Blocked away by Aram. Aram pulls up for a 3 of her own. Aram set fire to the rain. 66-29, it's all Firebirds.
Yeah, she's got that step back going on today. As you saw that right to end the first half, she hit that almost same shot.
Cord comes away with the rebound. 45 seconds remaining in quarter number 3. Cord underneath has already tied the career high. Green, flat-footed, 3, couldn't find it. Aram tries to keep it in. Fast break opportunity. Green tries to chase it down, float over, pass underneath. Right hand up, no good. Rebound by Green. Couldn't quite find it, was Abundas.
Good hustle there by Wamser to get back on the other side of the court, because that looked like it was going to be an easy basket for North Park, but the Firebirds able to get back and get the ball back as well.
Aram gets the screen. Somebody's going to take a shot. 5 seconds remain. Orozco steps off. Aram, long range three. Thought she had it. She's been feeling it all day, but nonetheless, the Firebirds will head into the final frame of action, leading 66-29, a 9-0 scoring run by Carthage to end things here in quarter number 3. We'll take a timeout when we come back. Fourth and final quarter of action on the Marquee Sports Network. (66-29) your score. Now going to Kalia. Butler had a chance to talk with head coach Radankovic.
Yeah, Pete, I spoke with North Park head coach Annie Radankovic, who said she doesn't want her team to shy away from the defensive pressure of the Firebirds, keep playing their game, and most importantly, taking care of the basketball and getting on the boards. Pete?
All right, thank you, Kalia. Again, Kalia joining us as sideline reporter, part of the outstanding coverage we bring you here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Quarter number 4 underway, 66-29 is your score. And Firebirds going to take possession. Morrissey driving in, gets it taken away.
Yeah, I mean, talking about North Park, I mean, that definitely was improvement there in the third quarter. We only had 3 turnovers. And, you know, we're able to put some baskets, some good possessions together.
Driving in, there was a bit of contact after the shot. Knebel comes away with the board as Bella Cabrales has checked into the game. So we are indeed seeing some substitutions. Panish still in the contest, driving in. Green loses possession, taken away by the aforementioned Panish.
Some active hands there from the Vikings. 2 possessions, and they're able to knock the ball out.
Kaskovic in the contest, left hand up and good. for Hirschberger. Looking for the long-range pass, tipped away at the last moment by Panish, looking for Carlson.
Yeah, you can see Hirschberger really developing into a vital player for the Vikings. I mean, she was one of 5 players last season to play in all 25 games, and you can see that experience carrying over into this season, and she has been an effective player here in the second half.
Thistle with an ill-advised inbounds. Again, starting 5 on the court as they started quarters 1, 3, and 4 now. So again, Coach Jones knowing, shot up, no good. Morrissey on the rebound, that there's something to be said for, you know, you had a little bit of a break, you had the holidays, they did play on Monday, but however, they got to make sure as Morrissey drives in, couldn't find it, Carlson follows up with the board, that these games may not come as easy in the coming weeks in conference play, in CCIW, one of the toughest conferences at the Division III level, that this may not be a circumstance where wins are going to come as easy as they are coming today. And it didn't start that way either.
Yeah, definitely a slower start for the Firebirds, but we talked about, again, how amazing that second quarter was and how efficient and how many turnovers they were able to force. And, you know, North Park's able to calm that down a little bit and force some turnovers here in the fourth quarter. I believe that's 3-4 turnovers to start the fourth quarter for the Firebirds.
Yeah.
And you gotta love the defensive effort here in the Vikings.
Cabrales come away with it out of Maine East in Des Plaines. Up strong with the left hand, but hits the ground. That'll be a foul, I believe, on Malia Green, and indeed it is. So here comes the line change hockey style for the Firebirds. As everybody rotates in, sans Emma Thistle. So Cord once again in, and again I like being on career numbers watch. Cord, Wamser, Orozco, Aram, and Thistle shot up by Hirschberger.
Hirschberger, a really good free throw shooter, over 80%. So again, she's got a lot of parts of her game that, of course I jinxed her there, got a lot of parts of her game that I think going forward, I mean, she's gonna be someone to watch here for North Park in the next few seasons, and there's also the rest of this season.
A few lefties on the court as well for North Park. Orozco looks for the trifecta, couldn't find it. Bounces out of play, Aram can't run it down. I really like the play that Bella Cabrales has shown as she's come in. You know, not afraid at the 5'2" stature to get in there into the thick of it, offensively or defensively. There's that bounce pass right back to the top, and good.
There you go, you just mentioned her, a nice little assist there.
Yeah.
Finding the open cutter.
And forces a jump ball. You know, I'm not saying I have a keen eye for contributing players, but again, just that spark that she's been on both sides of the court. The passing, getting in the lane, forcing the jump ball. And a player has hit the court. So it looks to potentially be Aaliyah Hirschberger. Is slow to get up, but she is standing and she is walking off the court. So that is always good to see, especially so quickly after what could have not been an easy circumstance.
Yeah, how about that from your coach, Annie Radankovic, sprinting across the floor to pick her player up. And, you know, it's something as a Vikings player, I mean, you definitely got to love that from your coach, looking out for you, and the first one on the scene.
Aram defended all the way at half court. Floats it up with the right hand. Couldn't quite find it. Another rebound by Caroline Long. .6:10 remaining. Aram gives way to the left side by Kaskovic. Kick back out, looking for three. No good, hard off the back iron. Thistle thought about passing it, gets it to Aram. Aram firing it up. 71 to 35, 12 points for Nora Aram, 3 for 6 from 3.
You can see confidence just oozing out of her when she's putting that up, and she thinks every one of them's going in.
Aram almost had the fancy no-look Michael Jordan / Cheryl Swoop style shot, and on the opposite end of the court, Wamser runs down long and causes a foul.
Carthage foul number 15, Grace Wamser, third personal, second team foul.
As subs coming in now for the Firebirds. Here comes indeed, as mentioned a few times in the broadcast, Jess Pekaski, as well as Delaney Elsmore, the freshman, and Sage Radke, the junior. And Sage Radke was a player that Coach Jones called out in our coach prep call yesterday, Eric.
Yeah, she said how, like, in some of the games, and she's not always in the, you know, what we call the varsity game, if you will, but some of those JV games that she comes in, she plays really well. And she said also in the practices, she runs a really nice unit herself, and that pushes the starters of the Firebirds to get even better. And yeah, Coach Jones had a lot of great things to say about Sage Radke.
So it is confirmed Aram. That went up and good. Grace Cord hits the career high, and Nora Aram hit her career high with that prior bucket as well. 19 points for two of the top bench players for the Firebirds. 73 to 36. Chris pass in, Pekaski couldn't quite hold on to it.
There's another Wamser fastball there.
It comes in with just unbridled speed. And that's something her teammates will get used to as the season goes on. Again, she's only been in, this is, I believe, her 4th contest of the season. No good off the rim. And the freshman Elsmore picks it up out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. Grace Cord. And you hear the pop of the crowd as they're excited for their teammate Grace Cord. 21 points on the afternoon. That'll be a timeout. We'll take it with them. 75 to 36 is going to be your score. We'll be back on the Marquee Sports Network. Yeah, Welcome back. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri, showing a close-up of Grace Cord, a career day for Grace Cord. And I want to call out as well how unselfish of a player she is. Last year, in and out of the starting lineup as a freshman, now as a sophomore, more or less your 6th man of the year type candidate.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard for Coach Jones not to play her more at the efficiencies he's had today. You look at both her field goal and free throw percentage. She's 7 of 8 from the field, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. So efficient, only missing 1 shot on both ends there. And yeah, she has just been a force down low.
Also in the contest, Mallory Winters for the Firebirds, as well as Mary Titzer. Going up strong with the left hand and going to be fouled is Sage Radke out of Janesville, Wisconsin. We see some more players for the Firebirds about to come in. And we're going to take another timeout. 75-36 your score. Quarter number 4, don't go anywhere. Doubleheader coming up after the conclusion of this one. We'll be back on the Marquee Sports Network. $75-36 your score. Appreciate you being with us on the Firebird Broadcasting Network today on the Marquee Sports Network. At the line is going to be Sage Radke, shot up and good. As you see the crowd get excited for Sage Radke. By all intents and purposes, by our notes, that's her first basket of the season. Or first point of the season, I should say, off the free throw. Bounce pass inside, up strong with the left hand, couldn't find it. Also in the game for the Firebirds is Taylor Paulson, the freshman out of McChesney Park, Illinois. Gianna Rawlings, the freshman out of Normal Community High School in the contest. Up, couldn't find the basket for the Vikings is Ashanti Bradley out of Valpo, a North Central transfer. And now coming in, number 22, Whitney Thompson, the freshman out of Gilbert's, Illinois.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the luxuries that your team can have is kind of giving a reward to, as we talked about over and over again, is how much Coach Jones has really respected the effort that she gets out of the end of her bench, and whether they're contributing in practice or doing everything they can to make this team better. And now here's your reward. You know, go get some buckets here, have some fun.
Brecken Carcello has checked in, as well as Lisa Collin. Three-pointer up and good for number 21, Jocelyn Shamus, the Chicago product. Kick out for three, misguided pass. Looking for the two, hits the bottom of the net. To no avail.
And one thing that's always kind of interesting when you get some time like this.
Baseline jumper. Excitement for Whitney Thompson. Whitney Thompson.
I was just going to say, it's almost like sometimes they overpass when they get in there. Not sure who's going to take the bucket, but Whitney Thompson said, I'll take that very much.
Kate Ethan also in the game. The 5'10 freshman out of Glenbrook North. I feel this is the pop quiz, Eric. Can we make sure we get everybody's name in for the Firebirds? Nice rebound for Carthage, and this is the future of the program we see. Looking for three. Can't find it off the back iron was Collin. We want to thank you all for being with us this afternoon as things matriculate on. Again, make sure you stay connected with Carthage Athletics. Visit athletics.carthage.edu to get the latest news, schedules, updates on your favorite Firebird teams. Access it easily on your mobile device, tablet, or desktop.
How about Shamus coming off the bench for North Park, knocking down 2 threes.
Men's volleyball starting soon. Again, the women's lacrosse schedule officially released today. We also want to thank BSN Sports. We also want to say congrats. Nice left-handed layup there by Kate Ethan. And that was Ethan's first bucket of her young career.
Yeah, what a take there. Just going left hand all the way to the rack. A good way to get your first bucket here at Carthage.
This game also brought to you in part by Culver's, Stella Hotel and Ballroom, as well as many more. We appreciate them all bringing this broadcast to you. 82-42, your score as Brecken Carcello gets her first bucket of her career. It's a first for everything. It's a first for buckets, and it's a first broadcast for Carthage Athletics and the CCIW on the Marquee Sports Network. Your final 82-42. Eric, final thoughts.
Yeah, I would say, after starting out a little slow in the first quarter, Carthage really ramped up the pressure on defense, and that's kind of that second quarter. They were just able to sprint to the front and then continue to just kind of grind away at the Vikings, and they were able to come out on top with a 40-point victory. So another thing Coach Jones has mentioned before is that North Park got the Firebirds last year, and she's kind of saying as part of her revenge tour, they wanted to get back at North Park, and today they come out on top.
Leading scorer for the Firebirds, Grace Court, 21 points, 7 or 8 from the field, 7 for 8 from the free throw line, along with being the leading rebounder for Carthage. 8 rebounds and an assist. For North Park, their leading scorer is number 2, Aaliyah Hirschberger out of Elkhart, Indiana, with 10 points of her own. Once again, your final in Kenosha. A 40-point victory for the Firebirds, 82-42. Again, for Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri, our sideline reporter, Kalia Butler. Folks, go take a quick break. Come right back as the men's teams between the Vikings and Firebirds will be taking the court in just about a half hour of time. Again, for Eric, Kalia, I'm Peter. 82-42, your final on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Thank you for joining us, everybody, on Marquee.